one, two, three, four other. So we rearranged it for everyone and got in there yesterday and took care of it. So it ended up being so
good. It would have worked out either way, but we feel blessed that you did that so you could spend the whole hour with us.
Well, as Bruce knows, I've got a lot of words, and so I can take up an hour on this subjct. So
yeah, I love that.
Well, guess what? It's 9 o'clock and you got the hour, my friend.
Yeah.
So good. So are we going to wait for anyone else to come in?
Yeah,
or
we'll I'm just gonna say it's 9 o'clock. I always like to just start right on the button, and there will be probably some more that will jump on in, hopefully. If not, I always tell people that we record these, so hopefully more of our people are getting used to that, and if they can't make the actual session, they'll just jump on Empire Masterminds on Facebook and watch the recording. So I will kind of kick this off again. Thanks, Joe, for joining us today. And thanks everybody else for spending your Wednesday morning here with us. I have heard Joe speak in a different mastermind group. There's a collaboration that we tune into called Margarita Masterminds. And that's where I had heard Joe speak originally. Fantastic agent doing some really amazing things, creating wow factor for his clients. His company is J Properties, and he is out of it's Aiken, South Carolina, correct, Joe?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So a little Southern man with us this morning. So
right next door to Augusta, Georgia. Has anyone heard of where they play the Masters at? So
yes.
Whenever I introduce myself, I like to tell people I'm from Augusta, South Carolina, and they're like, they shake their heads and go, yeah, and then they pause for a second and go, wait, that's not right. So I'm like, I'm on both sides of the river. And so but whenever I introduce myself, Augusta, Georgia is a little bit more recognizable than Aiken, South Carolina.
Yes. Well, you're doing such a great job. I'm just going to hand over the torch. So Joe Seaman, everybody, and I'll let you take it on here.
All right. So good morning. Happy Wednesday. And so, being a realtor, you never know what day it is. You just know it's a day. And so happy Wednesday. I have to think about that all the time. And like Kelly just introduced, I am from Augusta, Georgia / Aiken, South Carolina. I'm a dual agent. I'm a dual state agent and do business in both states. And we have kind of hit the ground running. So just a quick snippet of my background is I've always kind of been around the real estate industry, not ever holding a license until 2018. But my dad and I would buy like big 100-acre, 150-acre tracts of land. We'd cut them up in like 1, 2, 5-acre tracts and owner finance them for the buyers. And I do hold a residential builder's license. I don't tell a lot of people that. I have built 29 homes. In my lifetime, I've built 29 homes, mostly for friends and family. And then, tack a builder fee on there. So I've been around the real estate industry just about my whole life. But in 2018, I called my dad up. I worked for our family business. I called my dad up. I was coming back from lunch one day and I said, hey, I don't know what it is. So I'm a very spiritual person. And I said, I think I'm having a calling towards something else. And he was like, okay, just let me know what it is. And so anyways, I told him, I said, I think I'm going into real estate. And I'm gonna sell real estate. And he said, oh, please do not do that. Like, he's had many friends go in the business and not make it. Brilliant business-minded people, and they just don't make it. And so he literally begged me, like, sat me down, what can we do to compensate you? And I said, no, Dad, I really feel like I want to do this. And I am so thankful I did. Just to give you a quick background on my numbers, in 2018, I made a whopping $11,000 from March to December. And so I was thinking, my God, if this is what it takes to sell and make $11,000 in 10 months, this is not for me. Like, I will go and be a manager at Lowe's before I do this anymore. And so glad I stuck with it because in 2019, I ended up, it was just tough. That first year, y'all know how it is. That first year being in real estate is tough. And so trudged through that first year, ended up getting a listing the end of the year and selling it and closing on it in January of 2019. And then 2019, I ended up closing 54 transactions in 2019. 2020 ended up doing 135 transactions. 2021, 209 transactions. And then last year, 190 transactions. And then this year, we're already at 57. So we are down a little bit, but still very, very thankful because there's a lot of real estate agents all across the country dropping off like flies. So I say all of that to wrap into how do we just keep going? So as y'all can tell, I'm a little bit of a big personality. I'm a little bit extra. I kid and say my middle name is Extra. And so I like to just create those memorable moments with clients. We have right at 400 individual clients, meaning like family groups, people that have bought and sold with us, but that's per last name, like around 400 per last name. And we've done 730 transactions. So what does that tell us? That tells me that people are using us multiple times. Okay, so I can go through our list and I can say, hey, Mary Smith and her husband has used us to buy 2 houses and sell 1. And so what we're doing, and the only thing that I attribute it back to is we make it almost impossible for our clients to forget about us. And we know that in today's fast-paced world, frames on TV,
I think so, yeah.
Frames on TVs and kid shows change every 3 seconds. I don't know if y'all knew that stat or not, but every 3 seconds, especially on kids shows, the frame is changing to keep their attention. What do we do on social media? Like every couple of seconds, we are on somebody else's page, seeing something else. And so in real estate, we have to keep our clients' attention. And, the stats are different. I've heard that the average person knows 5 realtors. I've heard that the average person knows 9 realtors. I really don't know what it is, but the average person knows a lot of realtors. But how are you going to stand out amongst the sea of realtors that our clients know? So the way that I do it is outside of my bubbly personality and just charming presence. I try to just keep in front of them with our brand. And not only our brand, I'm huge into video. So if you're not doing video, you need to do video because all of this coincides together with staying in front of your clients. So what do we do to stay in front of our clients? So to be very transparent, everything is written down. And so I'm going to be looking at my notes because I don't do all of this by myself. I do like to be very transparent. I've got a team of 7 agents and myself, and then I've got 5 admin that help keep me straight. Okay. Because I can't do everything and continue to generate new business and do all of this. And so I have a girl, and I'm actually bringing in my cousin part-time to be our CCC. And what is a CCC? I don't know if anybody's heard of that. It's a client care coordinator. So Miranda is going to come in. My wife and Tracy are kind of doing it now, but Miranda's going to come in. She's my cousin, and she's going to do it full time. She's going to be our CCC, and that is just staying on top of clients, keeping in touch with them. Has anything changed? Have you gotten married? Have you gotten divorced? Have you had more kids? What's going on? And so we're just going to keep updates on emails and birthdays and all that. So with that, I have what we take in and we call our client intake form. And Kelly, this is what I was saying, I was going to email you. So Kelly will have it to email of y'all, but we don't give this to the client to fill out. So we pick the phone up and make it extremely fun. Whenever we're in process, if we're showing houses, we go ahead and do it. We go ahead and get in contract. Hope goes ahead and picks up the phone and says, hey, Mary, I just have a few questions that's going to make it really fun. I just want to know a little bit more about you. And really, I just want to know, what's your favorite coffee? How would you order it if you went through Dunkin' Donuts? How would you order a coffee? What's your favorite pizza? What's your favorite color? Things like that. So do you like sweet or salty? And that is on this form. And so we find out a lot of information about our clients. And so what do we do with that after we get it? That's great to have. Of course, there's birthdays and stuff like that and allergies and things like that. It's even where do you love to go on trips, beach or mountains or to the plains, or what do you like to do? It gives you a lot of information because you can kind of theme your gifting around what they like. And then also I want to preference by my CPA kind of, because I had a ton of gifting expenses on here. And she was like, hey, in South Carolina, a real estate agent can only gift $25 to clients. So be careful. If I say gifting, I really mean marketing. Okay. And so we changed all of those expenses to marketing. So if I say gifting, I'm meaning marketing. Okay. But that's how we just really stay on top of our clients and get to know our clients better, is through that client intake form. And like I said, is a phone call. I just feel like phone call, I don't know why we have such an issue with TCs. Like I've been through 3 TCs that just wouldn't pick the phone up and call people. Like that's all I want. Like I'm on my phone 24 hours a day, I feel like, but that is also what helps retain all these clients, is I'm always talking to them. And so that is a phone call. Hope picks the phone up, makes it a very fun experience, because who loves filling out surveys? I don't. And so we want to make it fun and enjoyable and memorable for whenever people do fill out surveys. So
Joe, this not to interrupt you, but this is one of the ideas we stole. And I'm going to just quick share my screen so everybody can see it real fast. If I can pull that form up here, hang on one second, everybody. Just so you can see it on the big screen.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Can you see it, everyone?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, it was a great idea from Joe's last presentation to us. We loved it. We copied it almost verbatim, put our logo on the bottom. And I mean, what a great way to find out a lot about your clients. And how Joe uses it is amazing, right? Just someone's birthday, whatever. Hey, saw on Facebook you're having a bad day, I'm sending you a donut, or I'm sending you your favorite coffee or whatever, right? So we love this idea.
Yes. And so that's the exact reason I use it. It's in our drive and it's in our CRM. So I have an ADD brain. And so when I'm driving down the road, I'm thinking of like 12 people that I've not talked to in 3 or 4 or 5 months. And so I'll text or call Hope or voice text her and say, hey, will you send Miranda a coffee? Will you send Tambra, will you send her a thing of a small bouquet of flowers? Will you do this? And so we're always just dropping little things randomly to people. I don't use the big gifting companies. I know that it makes it easy for realtors, and there's a lot of great gifting companies out there that get you on different levels and all that, but I don't use it. I'm very controlling. Again, I'm being very transparent. I'm very, very controlling over what gets sent out to who, when, how big it is, how much it is, all that. So I like to know every facet of everything. And so I don't use the big gifting companies. I found it more beneficial to have control over it and do it ourselves. And so as I'm gonna be kind of all over the place a little bit, so just buckle up. So whenever I'm around town and we're in Lowe's or Home Depot or the grocery store or something like that, I keep a stack of gift cards in my truck with note cards. Okay. So very simple note cards. We got packs of these off of Amazon. I think it was like 100 for like $40. And it says thanks or hello. These come off of Etsy. Happy birthday if I know it's their birthday. I keep this stuff in my truck. And then I'll keep a stack of like $5 Starbucks cards, $20 Lowe's cards, $20 Publix cards, like different, and some gas cards and things like that. And as I see people in restaurants or just shopping at the grocery store or at the hardware store, and it works like a charm. Don't be weird about it, but be like, as you run into your friend, or it doesn't even have to be a client. Like I do this just to random people that I know. And so as I run into people, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that I just ran into you. You don't know how much you've been on my brain. I actually have something for you in my truck. And they're like, what? Who is this guy? And then I run out to my truck, leave my cart there, and run out my truck. It takes literally 3 minutes to do. Write a quick little note, put a Starbucks card on there, take it back in, find them in the store and say, I can't believe, like, I've been meaning to drop this off to you. And then they're like, this guy is whack. So, but that works like a charm because it's a memorable impression. They're going to go home and tell their spouse, you won't believe what happened today. Like Joe just randomly handed me a $20 Lowe's card or whatever. And like I said, it doesn't have to be past clients. It doesn't have to be potential clients. It just has to be people that you know. And so that's kind of like a little hack. I keep these in my truck all the time. And I'm going to show y'all how I keep all my stuff organized in my truck because I carry a lot of stuff around with me. We also have these little sunglasses that are branded to us. And so when we're on showings and they bring their kids, or if I see a mom and her kids in the grocery store or something, or we're at a walkthrough and then they bring their kids because their kids want to see, the kids get sunglasses. And 90% of the times the adults are like, I want some too. And so I keep plenty of sunglasses on hand. Y'all, these things are like $1.70 a piece or something like that. They're cheap, but they go a long way. And so it's also fun whenever we're doing walkthroughs, right before closing or the day before closing, I will hand out these sunglasses to everyone and we'll do a picture in front of the house with the sunglasses on, because it kind of goes back to, I have a sunglass fetish. And I've got, I don't know, 55 pairs of sunglasses or something like that. And I just kind of change them up every day or every week or whatever I feel like. But I love sunglasses. And so that kind of goes back to, and a lot of people around here know that I'm always going to be in a different pair of sunglasses. And so that kind of relates back to, they think of Joe when they wear these sunglasses. So creates a memorable touch point. Let's see. Okay, so I also give a plant at listing appointments. So my 14-and-a-half-year-old has a plant business where he propagates and grows these plants and he ships them all over the country. He is 14 and a half, extremely proud of him. He's a little entrepreneur. He did this all on his own because I don't know anything about plants, but it's a way that I can support him. And so he has created this plant in a moss ball, MOSS ball. So it's a root ball covered in moss and it's got a plant coming out. And so whenever I go on a listing appointment, I present them with the plant from my son, and they're always just intrigued with the story behind it. It's another way to kind of create that connection. They learn about my children, they learn about my family, and then it's kind of like the back door into getting the listing. And so I do that with listings. I also do that with buyers. Like if we're going on, 17 showings in a day, I take them a plant and I give them a plant at the end of the showings and just say, hey, this is just something to remember us by. And then I tell them the story and all that. So I do a plant. Most of my clients have my son's plants in their houses. And so that's something kind of memorable back to us. When they see the plant, they think of us. And that's why I don't use the generic gifting companies, because sounds a little egotistical, but every time somebody looks at a gift that I give them, I want them to remember and think of me. Okay. Because that's how you're going to end up getting more resales, more referrals, and just more business. So let's go into like process through the contract with a buyer or a seller. And so, we have contingencies whenever we're in contract with buyers and sellers. I'm going to talk specifically with a buyer right now. Once we are in contract, we always send them something little, coffee or, a dozen donuts from Krispy Kreme, or we send them something. And I will say we've got about a 90%, like it doesn't happen every single time because we're not so methodical about it that we hit every single person with this whole process, but it happens about 90% of the time that our clients are getting this. So don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh crap, we got in contract and I forgot to send Shelly a coffee. Don't beat yourself up, go on to the next thing. And so typically after we get a ratified contract, we send them a coffee and a box of donuts or coffee and breakfast. And we just send them something, just say, hey, congratulations, you're under contract. We're excited for the next 30, 40, 50 days, whatever it is. So after the contract, we typically have inspections. I know every area is different, but our area, we have inspections during due diligence. So if it's like, we kind of know the house is good, these are solid buyers, they're not wishy-washy, they are pretty much going to stick with it because we're not inspectors, but us as realtors should be able to pick up on, do they like the house? Are they going to stay with it? Even if it's got a cracked window, we get it fixed. Are they going to stay with it? We should be able to pick up on stuff like that. And so with that, at the inspection, if it goes fairly well, I will present them. And again, this isn't for everybody. So I keep very, very minimum stock of these in, but typically there's a husband and wife team that's buying a house, or, females do own more houses than males. And so, we help a lot of female clients, but we present them with a small toolkit. You can find these on Amazon. They're like $30 to $50. So I think ours is $47, something like that. And then of course we have it geared towards women a lot of times, because most of our clients are women. Even if they're married, there's a little hammer in here. There's nails in here for hanging photos and pictures on the wall, a little tape measure and a level and stuff like that. So the women eat this up, because most men are going to have their own tools. I know I've got my own tool bag. So, but women don't have their tools. Like my wife loves her little toolkit. And so, we gear this more towards the women after the inspection. And so I'll give them this, and it's wrapped in a little bow. So we've got custom made ribbon that we have printed for us, and everything's wrapped with this ribbon, and they see this ribbon over and over and over through the process. So that's after the inspection, if it goes well. And like I said, only keep like 3 or 4 or 5 of these on hand at a time. Just because we don't give them to everyone. Y'all know how it is. Inspections blow up more deals than anything else. And so these are very few and far between, but I do keep a set whenever we go to an inspection in my truck. So that's during the inspection. And then, after the inspection, you kind of have that lull where you're waiting on appraisal and final lender approval and things like that. And so you've kind of got most of the time it's like 2-3 week lull. And so after about a week or 2 after the inspection, we'll drop them something else, maybe a nothing bundt cake, the little mini nothing bundt cake, and have it delivered to their office, or just something. And so that is through the process. And then we get to closing, and let me backtrack one step. So I do all of this through the transaction, because 90% of the time I'm going to ask for the 5-star review before we even close. Like, I want my clients to have such a great experience with us that I'm going to ask for the 5-star review probably a week or so before we close. And hopefully by then it's fun. It's been memorable. It's not been stressful. There's been plenty of communication. I will say I've noticed that's probably the worst part about realtors, is that they're not talking to their clients enough, especially when they're in contract. People just want to know that you're there and that you're working on their stuff, even though you may not have opened their file in a week. They just want to know you're there. And so we drop them something sweet, or a little bouquet of flowers or coffee or whatever it might be. In that little bit of lull before closing. And then we get to closing, and I have my closing gifts kind of tiered as far as price of the property. Don't look at me side-eyed, but I do. The team that I came in with in 2018, they did not believe in closing gifts at all. They said, hey, if they're a seller, hopefully they're taking a check and that is their gift. If they're a buyer, they're getting a new house and that is their gift. We did our job, so we don't provide closing gifts. And I'm like, I never felt right about that. Like, I always felt like, that just doesn't feel right. Like, here we are taking home, a substantial amount of money. And yes, while we do work, we all know that it's pretty much the same process over and over and over. Every transaction is different, but it's the same process over and over and over. And so we're taking all this money home, but we're not providing, like, we're not giving them anything. So as I would close things with that team, I would like sneak a gift back to their house or something, because they had a hard no gifts policy, but I would always take them something after we closed. And so whenever I left that team in 2018 and started my own thing as a solo agent, like, I was big into gifting. And so for our closing gifts, we do what a lot of realtors do, and that's Cutco knives. And so in 2018, when the Cutco knife rep, or 2019, I'm sorry, when the Cutco knife rep was at our office very early on in 2019, we had a big office meeting with the rep, and all these agents that I'm looking up to are like ordering, give me 25 and give me 40 sets and give me yada, yada, yada. And y'all know these things are like $100 and $200 a set. And so I'm like, wait until the whole room clears out. And then I go up to the rep and like, can you get me like 2 or 3 sets? I mean, is there a minimum order? Can I get 2 or 3 sets? I don't have a lot of business, but I do have a couple closings coming up. And by the way, I'm gonna have to put this thing on a credit card, or can you give me terms because I have no money? And so that's a fun story that we always rehash every time I go to order. And so from ordering just 3 knife sets, 3 $100 knife sets in early 2019, I have become her largest customer in the Southeast region. So, so she loves whenever she sees me call or text, and because she knows that there's a pretty substantial order coming in. But we give every single client, whether they're buying or selling, a Cutco knife. And so the way we have it tiered is $0 to $350,000. Our median price point is $280,000, just for reference. So $0 to $350,000 gets a single knife set. And Cutco does a beautiful job of presenting them in a hard box with a magnetic closure. They give some instructions in here, and then we put a letter in here as well that Cutco did for us. And it says, you know, Cutco is a forever guaranteed knife, and Joe is your forever realtor. And so it references back to knife realtor. So the other thing is that we have all of our Cutco products engraved. And so every time they reach for this knife, it is a memory. Joe gave me this knife. Joe gave me this knife. And we are very like, use your knife. A lot of people, I had a closing a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you gave me this nice knife. Like, I'm gonna put it in my china cabinet. And I'm like, no, Jane, you're gonna use that thing. Like, don't just put it up. I want you to use it. But we have it engraved with the realtor symbol, and it just says, with gratitude, your forever realtor, Joe Seaman. And so this is the single knife. This is what we give, $0 to $350,000. So from 350 to about 800, we give a knife and shear set, and the shears are engraved, the knife is engraved. And so this is about 350,000 to 800,000. Beautiful set. Again, the letter, the card, all that. And it's a good kind of just thing, because these shears will cut a penny, and I just let everybody know, use those shears for your gardening, for cutting meat, for cutting things around the house, and they'll break apart and you can throw them in the dishwasher as well. So it's a really, really cool set. These are about $200 a set for this. And then again, it's all wrapped in the ribbon that is printed specifically for us. And so it's a beautiful presentation at closing. And then if it's over $800,000, we actually order a whole knife set from Cutco. The Homemaker series is $1,500. The Homemaker series plus steak knives is around $2,200. I just gave a client the big set from Cutco that was $2,200 because she closed on a $1.7 million house. And so, give you some context, you're going to take home $40,000 worth of commission. You can spend $2,200 for your client, a very, very nice Cutco knife set. And this is a physician. She's accustomed to nice things. She has a nice knife set, but guess whose knife set is sitting on her counter right now? Mine. So she's always going to remember when she goes, and she's a chef. She loves to cook and prepare meals. So every time she goes and grabs a knife, she's going to think of me. So what I did, I traded. So I love Cutco knives as well. We like to cook with them at home too. So I traded one of the knives and put one of my engraved knives in there. And so now she's got an engraved knife with her knife set. So that is our closing gift kind of tiered structure, how we do closing gifts. Okay.
Hey,
so,
Joe.
Yes.
Hey, real quick. Do you get the ribbon off Amazon?
I'll find out from Hope where we get our ribbon from. So,
Okay.
yeah. I believe it's a ribbon. It's not Amazon. I think it's an actual company that prints ribbon.
I
So,
think if you Google it, you can probably find several companies that would customize it. So
yeah, different sizes. And so just remember, if you're trying to make a pretty bow, you want a little bit thinner size, because the bigger sizes don't make as pretty as of a bow. So that's another thing. I'm all about presentation, how things look. So after closing, we're done with closing. So on the anniversary of their home closing, on the first year anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of their house closing, we have these. It's a whole different knife. It's a paring knife, a 4-inch paring knife, and it is engraved as well. So this one says, "Happy Home Anniversary, your realtor for life, Joe Seaman." So we send these out on the 1 year anniversary of their home. Huge impact, and they absolutely, I mean, this cost $90, and so huge impact on this. And that's it with the Cutco knife. We don't give them any more Cutco knives. That's it with the Cutcos, but we send them this on the anniversary, and we put it in our box. So we've got lots of these client boxes, and I'll get into that in a minute. But we put it in these boxes. A lot of times we'll like to try to hand deliver these home anniversary things. And so that's a touch point. And hopefully you've already talked to them a time or 2 or 3, 5 since they've closed. But this is a great 1 year home anniversary gift. All right. So talking about after closing and letting them remember you and all that. So most of us have a phone, and most of us hopefully are taking pictures with our clients at closing, at the walkthrough, the day before closing, something. Make sure you're like in the picture with them. And so what I do is typically every day, this is part of like my routine that I go through every day. Like today is July 19th. So I just take my phone and I just type in July 19th up there, and it comes up with every photo that was taken on July 19th. So you see all, scroll through them, see if you've got any clients in there for that day that has closed. It'll show you the date that you closed above it. So whether that was July 19th of 2018, 19, 20, 21, shoot that picture to your clients. I'm telling you, that will jog. And I do it every year, because it jogs the memory, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're in love with our house. You won't believe we put a pool in last year," or something like that. So always, like, I hope y'all are getting the theme of this. Like, just stay in your client's face so much that even though they know 9 other realtors, you're the only one they know that can buy and sell a house. You know, they may know all these other realtors, but you're the only one that buys and sells houses. And so just keep that kind of a little tidbit, as far as like, I call that kind of my prospecting, is sending those pictures out, because they're like, "Oh my gosh, my friend's going to close or sell her house. I told her about you," or "I'm going to tell her about you," or whatever. It always ends up with some kind of real estate talk. And I'm very religious about that. And I also video text every day as well. So if you're not video texting, that's a whole nother topic that Bruce and Kelly will go over at some point, I'm sure. But video texting works. Just to jump off of this path and go on one with video text, I sent one randomly to someone that I just scrolled to the bottom of my text, and I'm like, surely I've talked to Heather Page within the last year. Why is she all the way down here showing that I haven't talked to her in a year? And so I shot her a real quick video. "Hey, Heather, I hope all is doing good. Tell your hubby I said hello. If y'all need anything, just let me know." Y'all, she was like, "I can't believe you just text me that. We were talking about calling you, and we're ready to sell our house." So I was like, "All right, what are y'all doing tomorrow? I'll be there." So just stay in front of your clients. Like, I just can't preach that enough, is just stay in front of your clients relentlessly. It is a job, it is a full-time job to have your client care coordinator or just staying in front of your clients. It is a full-time job, but it
And I'll do a
creates,
quick plug that's an upcoming class here that we're going to talk about touch systems and different ways and opportunities to have those touches throughout the year. So thanks for
Yes.
that plug.
Yes, it is cheaper, even though we do really nice gifts and we just love on our people hard and a lot. It is less expensive to retain the clients that you already have than to go get new clients. I will debate that all day long, any and every day. It is easier to retain those clients and just love on them than it is to try to always having to get new clients. And then also with that, the average person over their lifetime gives 9 referrals. So that is a stat that I know. So, all right. So if you have a database of, 400 people and they give 9 referrals, you're done. Like, you don't have to go out and always try to get new business. You're set for life if you do it the right way. If you are continually always just in their face about something, and it's never about real estate. That's the other thing. So I don't ever want to say, "Hey, you ready to sell your house? Do you know anybody that can buy or sell?" I'm not ever like that. I'm always like, "How are the kids?" And I saw y'all got a new car. I saw somebody graduated from college. I always open the conversation up that way. So it's never about real estate and never about, I know agents are egotistical and we love to talk about ourselves a lot, but it is never about yourself. It is always about them. Even when they try, you may have that client that tries to just ask a lot about you, always switch it and make it about them. Like, people will forget what you say, but they will never forget how you make them feel. And so if you make them feel important, make them feel heard, make them feel seen with all the gifting and marketing, they will not forget that. And that's just what we live by. So let's move on to, we do these touch points. So I briefly ran over our boxes. So if you're not doing CMA boxes, that's something different that Bruce and Kelly can go over at some point. But I got this idea off of a CMA box thing. So this is our special delivery box. So it says special delivery from the J Properties Group. So we have a ton of these boxes. And so like last fall, and then when you open the box up, like, I do have someone that does all of our marketing and she designed this box. So when you open it up, it says thank you in all different fonts and languages. So it's really cool when you open it up. And then this was the contents of it last fall. So I think we sent this out in October when the weather's changing here from being 110 degrees every day to where it's like 60 degrees at night. So a little bit. And when that happens, people break their sweaters out and they're making hot chocolate and apple cider and all that around here. But so we made a little card. So this is me and my wife. This was in the summer when we did this, but we threw our sweaters on and got our coffee cups out and got in front of our house and made a little picture. And it just says, enjoy a hot cocoa night on us. We value quality time spent with our family and hope you can too. And so this comes from us. And then the back side of the card says, baby, it's cold outside, but the market is still so hot. So it references back to hot chocolate. I'm big on these refrigerator calendars. If you're not doing them, do them. Go ahead and order them now and get them in your client's house for 2024. The first calendar they get is the first calendar that goes on the wall. So remember that. You want to be the first calendar on the wall with your picture and website and phone number and contact information. So we do the refrigerator calendar, and most of the time when I go into clients' houses, they are on the refrigerator. So we do these. I order these by the 500s, and we get these out in everybody. So everybody gets them in their box, especially in the fall. It's their first calendar. They're going to make sure that that calendar is on the refrigerator for 2024. So we ordered all this off of Amazon, 2 things of hot chocolate, 2 things of apple cider, a little baggie of marshmallows with our little house sticker branded towards us, and a few pieces of candy, and then that brown crinkle paper. And these get hand delivered to our clients. If they're not home, we just leave them on their porch, shoot them a picture, I don't hand deliver them. So we do have a runner. And so if they're not home and she can't get it to them, she'll snap me a picture, tell me who it's what house she's at, and then I'll send it to them and say, hey, I left you something on your porch.
So Joe, you
so
have
just-
quite a few clients. You said, you know, you've sold 500 houses over. Are you doing everybody, or are you looking at just the last year's past clients, or how do you?
So everyone gets a box. Everyone that is still local gets a box. So yeah, it's probably 300 clients that get a box that are still local, that haven't moved out of the area. So it's a big endeavor. You know, to put the boxes together, to stuff the boxes, to get them out. And so she just kind of maps out different sections, and then she'll take on different parts of town, different days. And this past time, it took us a good while. It probably took us a good solid week and a half to get everyone their box. It was a lot. So a lot of driving around. So, but my intention was to do that one time in the fall, one time in the spring. We were super slammed this spring. And so the boxes didn't get out. I'm not beating myself up. We're going to hit them again in the fall. And so make sure everyone gets that touch point. So with buyers, you know, they've got a new house. And so to create a memento for their new address that year. So this is just year one of the buyer having that house. We actually create a handmade by my wife, and she tries to recruit my children. And so anyways, we put them in these little takeout boxes and wrap this little twine around them. And then we stick a piece of like Leland cypress in it. And this is the outside of the gift. And then we hand deliver these as well to all buyers for that year. And so let me show you what the ornament looks like. Super cute. It does take time to do these, especially with our volume. It takes a little bit of time. So the ornament has to dry, has to, you know, she has to cut it out, has to dry, then she has to paint it, then that has to dry, then we have to package it and put the string around it. But if you want a memorable thing that your clients are always going to post on social media, every single year they put their tree up, they're going to post this and they're going to tag you in it every year. So if they're not tagging us on social media, they're sending me text about, oh my God, I can't believe I love my ornament, whatever. But it's got the address stamped on the top, little door. She paints them, and then they just are hung by a piece of string. These things like get your name out there without you asking. So again, they pull their Christmas decorations out to decorate the tree. Who are they thinking of? Joe gave me this ornament. Joe sold me this house. And so that's what I'm just reiterating, like, just make everything indiscreetly about you. And that's how you're going to get more clients. So I feel like I've talked a lot. So I'm going to show y'all real quick too, what I keep everything kind of organized in my truck with. It is a tool bag. So I carry this tool bag around with me. Of course, it's got lots of pockets. I can put lock boxes in here, pins, my notary stuff is in here, my cards, key tags, things like that. But, you know, I keep my sunglasses in here, keep gift cards in here, keep cards and cardstock in here. And so this is a way that you're not always like fumbling through your glove box. You're not fumbling through underneath the seat, and it's all matted up or bent up, or, you know, where did I put the gift card at? It's all right here, organized. And so organization is a big thing for me, and I love to stay organized. And so that was a great tool. I was just walking through Lowe's one day and I'm like, I think that will work. I think that will work to keep me organized, because I drive a pickup truck. And so there's not a lot of storage in pickup trucks. And so I just sit that in the back seat of my truck and keeps me completely organized. I know where everything's at all the time.
So Joe, not to interrupt you here, but there is a question. You mentioned your CCC. Do you pay them salary? Do you pay them hourly?
Hourly.
I mean, because I guess this is a lot of work, and if somebody is looking to maybe hire.
Yes,
Just
hourly,
some advice.
salary. Yeah, hourly. One thing I meant to go over, and this is a huge part, so take notes on this. And this goes back to the closing, when we're at the closing, and y'all see how I roll. I'm kind of all over the place, but again, I've got people that keep me organized. My job is being in front of people talking. And so I'm a little all over the place, but this is what we call our everything book. So it takes a little bit of time to prepare it prior to closing. We present this with our Cutco knife or our knife set. Everyone buying a house gets an everything book. So it's just a 1-inch binder. We order the binders by the case from Amazon. We put a picture of their house on here. It's branded towards us. It says everything book, has their name and address on here. So what is an everything book? So at closing, I present them this book and I tell them, look, any and everything to do with the house, owner's manuals, invoices, repairs, anything to do with your house, stick in this book. That way it's always there. You can reference it for any and everything that you need. But the back doorway in is every time they open the book, whose picture are they going to see? So when they go and buy a new range and they stick the owner's manual in here, they open the book, and we put plenty of extra clear pages back here for them to stick things like that in. So every time they access the book, they're seeing me. Okay. So in our everything book, I do have a letter that thanking them for using us, for entrusting us with their real estate needs. So it's a letter from me, some little mementos, a pen, a notepad, my business card. In our state, in South Carolina, we have a homestead exemption. So we have the form there. And then what goes back to the form is our attorneys, we're an in-person closing attorney state. We're an in-person attorney closing state. So he always says, hey, give me about 4 to 6 weeks, and then you can go and apply for your homestead exemption. So while he's in there, I'm in my Google Calendar. Hey, 4 to 6 weeks from now, probably about week 5, remind Mary Smith of her homestead exemption. Another touch point. All right, who doesn't love saving money on property taxes? You're going to be their Jesus that walks on water if you're saving them, 2/3 in taxes. And so just always think outside the box about stuff like that. So that's something that I do. We, depending on what county they buy in, because we're kind of split up in 3 different counties, we will have that county's homestead exemption form here. Letter from me, community info, their utility information, which you should have already gotten them prior to this, but it's just a good reference point. HOA info, if you can get a floor plan. So as you're in inspections, as you're in walkthroughs, download the app Casa Cuba. I think it costs $9 to create your buyers a floor plan. So when we're at the inspection, when we're at the walkthrough, I tell them, hey, I'm going to generate a floor plan for y'all, but I need to be able to walk through the house by myself. And all you do is just scan the walls of every room. You walk the entire house, the upstairs, the garage, basement, whatever it is. And then within 24 hours, you'll have a floor plan you can send to your buyers. And then you include it in their everything book. All right. What other realtor's doing that? Nobody. Nobody's doing it. So it takes you 20 minutes to get through the house and $9. And so just do little things like that. So we create a floor plan, and then they put the picture up there of their house. CC&Rs, always include a copy of your CC&Rs in the everything book. This was a site plan for the neighborhood I just found online. The termite letter. So in the South, termites are very prevalent here. And so we always want a clear termite letter. I include a copy of their clear termite letter. This was a home warranty information. So this is from Quality Builders Warranty. This is kind of like their deck sheet that is just right online. You can print every bit of this stuff. I didn't have to dig for any bit of this stuff that's in here. You just have to have enough pre-planning and pre-thinking to put it all together. and then their whole entire warranty agreement, and then just the MLS sheet. Of course, make sure your picture's on it, not the listing agent's picture's on it. Always brand it to you, and then their closing disclosure. And then typically we have a couple more sheets back here. This right here is golden. It takes, I don't know, it's very, very, very low cost, but it is worth its weight in gold. People always are referencing their everything book. And I get thanks on that everything book almost daily, if not every other day. So people love that everything book. So I've talked enough. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I want to answer questions. I've got more, but I think I've hit a good chunk of our client experience. Oh, the other thing, after closing about 2 weeks or so, we will, because y'all know buyers are like frantic moving and they're just busy and just can't think of anything. So after about 2 weeks of closing, if they've not given me a review, I do give them a gentle reminder that I would love and appreciate their 5-star review. And by the way, making sure you're all going to be home tomorrow night, because we're sending 2 pizzas and some sodas from, again, less than $50. But guess what? They're in the middle of still unboxing and moving, and kids are chaotic, and I don't have to cook dinner tomorrow night, and somebody's paying for it. So, you know, that is what I do to just love hard on our clients. And I don't know if y'all have read the 5 love languages or not, but typically you show love in the way you receive love. But ironically, I am not a gift person. Like, I don't receive gifts very well, but I love to give gifts. And so, anyways, we're going to open up the Zoom for any questions and answers or comments.
I will just say, Joe, that I love your enthusiasm. I can see why people love doing business with you. Your passion for this definitely shows. And I know not everybody has a budget for, gifting to the degree maybe that you do. If you could summarize, like, let's just say a $400,000 house, what do you think on average you spend on all these little things, over the course of that first year? What do you think you spend on them? Oh, Joe, I think you're locking up.
0 to 350, something like that. Is saying my connection's unstable. Can y'all hear?
Yeah, you're locking up. Oh, sorry guys. I'm not sure what's happening with Joe. I'm glad there you go. There you are.
There we are. Okay, we're back. So I would say on the lower, like the average size, the $280,000 median price point for our area is probably $250 to $350 a year, because I'm just relentless. And when they're buying and selling, it's fresh. And oh my gosh, you got a new, they're telling all their coworkers, they're telling their friends, they're telling the baseball team moms and all that. We just got a new house, and Joe and his team were just amazing. And that's what I want the word out on the street to be. And
I think you guys, if you think about what you spend, like, I know Bruce and I, we do one of those gift clubs, that's already 100 and something right there. And it doesn't have the personal touch that you have. But then you just think, oh, you ran an ad, or you did this, or you did a Facebook ad, whatever. What you spend on that, you probably don't get the return that Joe's getting off of, that $200 to $300 or $350 per year. And you get one sale, one referral from that. You've paid for probably 10 more clients, for all of those gifts. So I love this.
So that's how I relate. Everything is return on investment.
Yep.
Like, we're fixing to throw our first client appreciation event, and we've got about 400 people saying they're coming. So it is expensive. It is very, very expensive. And I do have a few vendor partners, giving me $500 here, $1,000 here, but I've already spent $10,000 of my own money. We've not even gotten to the event yet. However, my wife over here is like freaking out because we're spending so much money on this thing. And I'm like, Hope, like on my low end, I think we're going to get 3 referrals off of it. but I actually think it's probably going to be more like 9 or 10. And so, 9 or 10 by $10,000 commission. Okay, spend $10,000 on the client appreciation event.
Right.
Everything is related back to return on investment.
Right.
One of the best things we've ever done was we did our first pie appreciation day this past Thanksgiving, the day or two before Thanksgiving. $6 pies from Costco. We literally had a week to get it out because I had never heard of it before, ironically. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So my team and I just went right into action, had my marketing girl create a flyer. We started calling and texting everybody just a week to prepare for it. And we sent out a Google registration form. And so my goal was 100 pies. And everybody's like, you can't do that. Like, that's way too many. Like, that's too ambitious. So I went ahead and ordered 125 pies from Costco because I knew we were going to do it. And do y'all know, we hit the money. We had like 2 pies left over, and I took them to my mom's for Thanksgiving. That's how many pies got reserved. And people came to our office. They came in. Some people would just drive through. Tremendous touch point over a $6 pie. So do y'all just take a wild guess on what we procured from a $6 pie appreciation thing? It cost me, I don't know, $700. 2 buyers, 2 sellers, off of handing pies out for Thanksgiving. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So you just have to be willing to put the work towards it. And yes, it does cost money, but there's so many low cost things. People don't really care what it is. They just want to know that you care.
Right. I agree that I don't think you have to spend a lot of money. I think it's like you said, if it's a personal touch, if people think you do care, that's important. Bruce, I was going to ask you if you happen to have one of those little pizza things next to you. So when Joe mentioned he delivers pizza for like move-in day, this is what we give at the closing. You could leave it at their house. You could deliver it the day they're moving in, but we have a little thank you box that has a pizza cutter has a logo on it and a little bottle opener. And then we include in that box a gift card for the local pizza place in their area that will deliver. So they can just call, have pizza delivered. You could take it a step further like Joe does and actually call and have it delivered for them. So whatever you want to do, but I think it's just those little things that like, wow, okay, good. I don't have to cook when I'm moving in. We already have that taken care of. All of those things just show that you care about them and that you're thinking about them after the sale. You weren't just in it for the commission check.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. And we never want anyone to feel like we're just in it for the money. Yeah. We, as realtors, I don't care if you do 1 closing a year or if you do 200 a year, we all know that we get rewarded very well for what we do. And so take some of that. Like, it's the cost of business. It's the cost of doing business to retain these clients. And I don't have to go out, and I do lead generate. I do a lot of all that, but I don't have to. In fact, we're in talks about closing all that down because we've got so much repeat and referral business that it's keeping us at a very, very, very frothy, whatever. So we got
business. Absolutely.
We got
and you
business
think about
our ears.
Yeah, you think about what you're spending and you're getting the business, and other people are just spending it in different venues, right? Through their digital marketing or whatever. So there's no right or wrong. It's just, if you're going to do it well.
Yes. Yeah. And don't think that you have to do everything that I do. Like I started out with, I'm very, very over the top, very extra. And so just if 1 or 2 of these things resonate with you, do that. It doesn't matter so much what it is. It always just goes back to how you make them feel seen. I've gotten more business off of the free things that I do, the photo text on the year or the home anniversary. Even if they move out of state, you never know if they're coming back or if they've got referrals coming in. Always send the picture. And then those video texts. Those are 2 free things that you can do. Super simple. Takes very, very little time out of my day. and I do it, and I get more business off of those two things that are free than anything else that I do.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great segue as we're ending up. We will be, I think it's either next week or the week after, we're going to be talking about touches, touch systems and different things that you can do, and how to implement those so that a lot of them are automated or just very quick and easy in your day. So I appreciate that plug. Like I said, anybody else have any other questions for Joe before we let him go on with his day? Well, good. Well, thank you, Joe, so much. I really appreciate your time. Like I said, I loved when you did this presentation earlier, and I even picked up a few things that I probably forgot to write down from the first time. So we've already implemented a lot of these things, and we will continue to do so. So we wish you the best of luck and keep impressing people.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for having me. I hope everybody has an awesome Wednesday and rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Joe.
See you guys.
Fabulous
Everybody have a
job.
good day.
Nice job, my friend.